Were there any deals made?
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or we're at worst going to be breaking even.
Oh my God.
We have $1 billion trade deficit. When you look at...
And bear with the sound. It's the plane. It's not me.
The trade deficit that we have with certain countries, way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem...
When he says that we have a trade deficit, do people understand, like, do the majority of Americans, like, do we understand what that means? When China has a surplus and we have a deficit, and the reason why we're charging them tariffs, they make more money off of us than we make on them. When you go to China, you don't see everything saying made in the USA. When you're in America, everything is made in China. They are selling us stuff, but not buying from us. Let's say that you and your friend have a company. You and your friend are starting a business, right? You support their business all the time. You're constantly buying products from them. But they don't buy from you and support your business. Does that seem fair? Like, can we simplify it? Can we simplify it just to that standpoint? You and your friend have a business. You sell, I don't know, let's say you sell t-shirts. They sell jeans. You sell shirts, they sell jeans. You buy all the jeans from your friend, but your friend never buys t-shirts from you. Does this not make sense? Like, is it not super simple? This is why we have to charge tariffs. Now, because my friend, he doesn't want to buy t-shirts from me and I'm constantly supporting his business. You know what, bro? Yo, I got to charge you a tariff. You keep selling me all this stuff. I keep buying jeans from you, or I keep buying jeans from you. You're not buying any t-shirts from me. We got to figure something else out here. You got to pay a tax or something, a tariff. You got to pay something. You got to pay something, or give me some type of, I don't know what it is. But I can't just support you. What is Nipsey Hussle? All money in, right? Now, not all money in, right? When in this type of situation, when you're working with somebody, but I'm going to give you a certain amount, you're going to give me. That's how people support each other's businesses. So why do we not understand that Donald Trump does not want to continue to allow China to take advantage of us and have this surplus while we have a deficit, which destroys our economy?
Of our trade deficit with China, we have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. Now, I'm willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus. We have a tremendous deficit problem with China. They have a surplus of at least $1 trillion a year. I think it's like $1.1 trillion. And I want that solved. And no other president's taken it on. I had to take it on the last time, and then we had a rigged election. No other president's taken it on. And so China is, they say the market's spoken. China is right now taking a big hit because everyone knows we're right. They have to pay tariffs because otherwise we have a surplus, and they have a surplus with us that is not sustainable.
Mr. President.
And we're talking about $1 trillion. You know that, right? We're not going to lose $1 trillion for the privilege of buying pencils from China.
On the idea of crashing the markets on purpose, there's been some speculation, partly because of the video that was posted on Truth Social, that there was some sort of deliberate effort on your part to have the market sell off. Can you talk about that?
No, that's not so. But I do want to solve the deficit problem that we have with China, with the European Union and other nations. and they're going to have to do that. And if they want to talk about that, I'm open to talking. But otherwise, why would I want to talk? And as you know, because of the tariffs, we have $7 trillion already committed to be invested in the United States, building auto plants, building chip companies, and all sorts of companies are coming into our country at levels that we've never seen before. Biden had nothing coming in. This was a dead country with Biden. He didn't know what he was doing, and that's now been proven at least.
Trump, this weekend, you talked to a lot of leaders this weekend. Can you tell?
Yo, this is something that I've been noticing. And I made these comments, and I'm glad Vons wrote, ew, ew. Sorry to interrupt the video. We got a new challenge. 20,000 by the end of April. We fell short in March, but we're going to get our goal this month. Thank you all in advance for those that are going to continue to like, subscribe, maybe even leave some comments and let us know how we're doing. And on that note, let me let y'all get back to the video, and I'll see y'all soon. Ew.
Tell us, sir, were there any deals made?
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or we're at worst going to be breaking even.
Thank you, Vons. Appreciate you. I want to go to my notes. You know what the real issue is? You know what people like Vons are scared of, and the liberals are scared of? We've had a problem for a very long time, right? $36 trillion in debt that no president has been able to solve or get on the right track, however you want to describe it. You know what the real problem is? It can be a few things. But I think that because nobody actually believes in the government, nobody actually believes in these politicians, nobody believes that they can really make a difference in their lives because politicians have never done anything. They've always talked. We're so accustomed to hearing them talk and not doing anything. We're so accustomed to hearing them say, hey, we're going to move this 100 points that way. And us be okay with, well, it moved over 1 or 2. Just giving an example. I'm not even points, whatever, you could use whatever you want. We're so accustomed to them delivering on less than 5% of the promises that they make that people are actually very nervous with Donald Trump doing what he's doing. And because we've been, and before I get to Trump, sticking on the point as far as the politicians never delivering on anything, there's always been a different standard between politicians and business people. Politicians can make promises and deliver on 5% of them, and we still support them because we get emotionally triggered to hate the other side so much. A business, we can have one bad experience at a business out of 100 and never go back to that business again. Go on Twitter, talk about that business, talk about the person that you dealt with. They had an attitude, they disrespected you. Politicians have never had to deliver. So when Donald Trump brings this business-minded approach to the government, it makes a lot of people nervous. There's people like Vons, I think, that just don't think that any politicians are going to do anything. So they'll see a guy like Trump, and it's almost like, well, he's trying to do something that everybody else said that they were trying to do, and he's doing it, but I don't like the way he's doing it. And I really don't think in the long term he's going to be successful. And what I really mean by that is I hope he's not successful because I don't like him personally. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. People know what Donald Trump is doing makes sense. I believe that the majority of people know what Donald Trump is doing makes sense. I don't think that you can listen to anything that he said so far in this exchange to where you're like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. And if there was, then tell me what it was that didn't make sense. All I hear are comments like Vons when I talk to people. Y'all think this American-ish going to be the answer. What are you criticizing, Vons? What do you disagree with what he just said? I had a conversation over the weekend where a buddy of mine, He may be listening right now. A buddy of mine. I'm going to go back to the conversation. It was literally, he would ask me certain questions and I would answer. He would ask me certain questions. Like, I'll give you an example. We were talking about the border. We're talking about Israel. We're talking about biological men in sports. We're talking about all these different things, right? He's asking me if I regret voting for Trump. He's asking me if I regret voting for Trump. I'm like, no, like Trump has pretty much delivered on all the things that I expected him to deliver on. And I said before the election, the one thing that I knew was going to be an issue for me is how he deals with Israel. I said that. But then when I say I'm not disappointed in him, I get called MAGA. And it's like, wait, you're trying to convince me that I'm disappointed in voting for Trump. Then when I say I'm not disappointed, he refers to me being MAGA. So he's asking me all these questions that I answer. Then when I start asking him questions, he doesn't answer them. I'm like, yo, what issue do you have with what Trump's done so far? What issue here? What issue here? Do you not agree with the migrant policy? Do you not agree with this? Do you not agree with bringing more jobs into America? And he just won't answer. And I'll say, well, why are you continuing to ask me questions, but you haven't answered any of my questions? Well, I can answer them, but he doesn't answer them. These people are not serious individuals when it comes to their thinking. They're not being logical when they're trying to go to all sorts to rationalize why they should hate Donald Trump. Now, let me get back to my notes because I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent. People know what Donald Trump is doing makes sense, but they ignore it. They ignore it for the pain that we have to go through to fix things, right? To fix anything, you're going to have to go through something, right? To fix anything. It just is what it is. There's going to be certain things that come across. And I think Donald Trump said it in this, where he's like, yo, to fix something, sometimes you got to take medicine. You don't like the way the medicine tastes. That's a perfect analogy. But we're not willing to go through certain pain points if we don't think that what the president is doing is actually going to work. And people are trying to convince themselves, even though what Donald Trump is doing makes sense, because I speak to a whole lot of moderates and they're like, yeah, I understand what he's doing, but, the prices are going. They understand what he's doing. They understand what he's doing. And hold on, let me make sure that Trump is doing, but ignore it for the pain that we have to go through to fix things. All right, so I wrote a couple notes down, just some thoughts. And I think that another reason why people are rooting against Trump is because if Donald Trump is successful, that puts a whole lot of pressure on a whole lot of people. If Donald Trump is successful, it is going to change the entire landscape of politics, even more so than he's already done. That's just my opinion. If Donald Trump is able to get in as a president, wasn't a lifelong politician, and really take strides into solving issues that lifelong politicians were not able to make a dent in, that says a lot about former Democrats and former Republican presidents. Both. It says a lot. It puts more accountability to actually deliver on things, not to deliver on 5% of the things that you've been presenting. So it's just different. It's just different. Let's keep going with the interview. But this whole notion of y'all think this American is going to be the answer, Vons, what do you disagree with? Look at the comments that Vons write. Elon is a joke. How did we get here? Tell me what they're doing wrong rather than name calling. Tell me what issue you have with one of their policies. And tell me even more so what suggestions that you would have in order to do it different and do it better. But they can never do that. Their only go-to is to criticize the things that Donald Trump is doing. Dang. And this is where you lose everybody, Vons. Soul not living reality. He's a lost Negro, Uncle Ruckus vibes. This is why people all over the world, white and black, look at Black Americans like we are some of the most ignorant people on the planet. Our most intelligent people, we don't listen to. But instead, we are influenced by the Jasmine Crockett's, the Ayanna Presleys, the AOCs, the Cardi B's, the Meg the Stallions. I'm just naming all the people that were at the Kamala Harris and Democratic events. Those are the people that we prioritize listening to. Those are the people that have an influence on our culture. And Thomas Sowell, because he doesn't agree with the Democratic establishment, because he doesn't agree with Al Sharpton Vons, he's an Uncle Ruckus. Meanwhile, Al Sharpton, we don't look at him as the Uncle Ruckus because Democrats, black Democrats, like it or not, you are a slave to the Democratic Party. You are a slave and have been a slave for a very long time to the Democratic Party. And the only reason that you come so hard at the Republicans is because deep down you feel bad about being a slave to the Democrats. Deep down you feel bad about being a slave to the liberals. But rather than to address your own insecurities that have been created by you constantly voting one way and it not delivering anything for you, instead of you acknowledging that, looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, maybe I should do something different here, you continue to run in the wrong direction even faster. That's the problem. Our most intelligent people, exactly what he was talking about, think about it, exactly what Thomas Sowell was talking about in his video, Vons is doing in his comment. Tom Sowell, like we're talking about Thomas Sowell here. He's talking about how black leaders, black elites, black liberals have used their voice to make people like Vons and the black community hate somebody like a Tom Sowell. Meanwhile, what has Al Sharpton ever done? What did Barack do for you? What has Jasmine Crockett done for you? What is AOC? What have all these people done? But instead, we will totally disregard a Tom Sowell just to rationalize our feelings about our Democrat oppressor. But we'll look at Tom Sowell as the Uncle Ruckus. No, y'all Democrats that continue to vote Democrat, y'all are just slaves to the Democratic Party. You can call yourself field Negroes, you can call yourself house Negroes. But let's just be honest. The reason why you won't even consider another option is because you are mentally captured by the Democratic Party. Now, of course, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the people that say comments like, I mean, Vons is out there. He's saying it. It is what it is. You can have your opinion. Cool. But this is just my opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion, but this is just mine. Calling Thomas Sowell Uncle Ruckus. Wow. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going with the interview. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.